So I'm getting a lot of the sports stuff out the way so I can make all my lists for the rankings we're gonna be doing, like we did for the Kuroko one, because that's a lot of people's favorite
Mm.
video that I've done, where me and I think it was me. Were you there?
No, I was not there. That this was a. I think you did this like low key, like what, 2019?
I think it was 2020.
I think because you had JD Legend in there. I think.
Yeah, so probably like 2020. Yeah,
I think you had Vince. I think Simi was there.
Simi was there because Simi put Kisei at 10, and everybody lost their mind immediately. He had like Kisei. I think he had Kisei's point guard above him. I was like, bro.
My thing was just it's one of those things like I really.
You told a Glock, that bitch your face. You don't want smoke, get out my face. You niggas ain't rapping, y'all disgrace. That boy stay capping, he need a cage. Can't walk this darkness in my place. I got cold white inside my face. You niggas ain't rapping, y'all disgrace. That boy stay capping, he need a cage. You told a Glock, that bitch your face. You don't want smoke, get out my face. You niggas ain't rapping, y'all disgrace. That boy stay capping, he need a cage. Can't walk this darkness in my place. I got cold white inside my face. You niggas ain't rapping, y'all disgrace. That boy stay capping, he need a cage. Don't fuck with lanes, don't fuck with facts. Don't care about bitches and distract my bank account. Another transaction. We count them digits and subtract it. Don't fuck with lanes, don't fuck with facts. Don't care about bitches and distract my bank account. Another transaction. We caught that nigga send him packing. Yeah, we sent that nigga pack. Don't give a fuck about the past. He hit the pavement, now he napping. You need some shit, this tap tap tap. Just know your role.
Kisei is always. Oh shoot, I'm in a black void. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Kisei is
How
always
did
hard
he's
for me
dog
to.
water?
I don't. I do think some people overrate him, but like the reason that I've always had a bit of a kindred, like I don't know, whatever with Kisei is because I'm like, bro, I'm like him. I have good kinesthetic corporal skills like that, where like you see something performed once, and you kind of intuitively understand how to replicate it and do it again. Like, like I understand that. So, because like I think the two instances that I can say that I've done that where I was even a little surprised was the first time I did a serve in tennis. I just watched my teacher serve twice. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. And I just kind of replicated it. And when I was snowboarding the first time, where I watched somebody kind of, I guess, carve and stop with their yes 4K yes 4K now yeah with their heels and their tippy toes to like stop. I'm like, oh, that's how you stop. Well, I get it. And then I just kind of just started snowboarding. And the first time I did it, I actually didn't get to the highest level. Like you could do a test and you can get off the bunny hill. And you can go on hills of varying different levels. So if you're like really good, you go into Black Diamond. They have the little what are they called, the moguls? I don't know what they're called, the little bumps and stuff, and like the half pipe and like the jumps and everything. I got to the second highest, and it was like only my first time like snowboarding ever. But my friend had a sticker because he came like the week before, so we put that sticker over the one that I had. So I just went to the top one, and then I learned that like snowboards are pretty heavy in the air. Like I remember going off a jump, and it weighed my legs down. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna go down. I'm not even gonna try nothing. So I didn't expect the board to weigh like that much in the air. I went for a jump, so but it was fun. But nah, yeah, Kisei is kind of like whatever. But I am excited to like do all the other ones because I'm gonna do one for Al Ashi and Blue Lock. Probably do like best strikers, well, Al Ashi I guess is pretty much just best strikers, so we'll just have to do like that. That's the thing. That's the thing I think that makes the series very boring to me as a football fan. It's a
Do you
series
mean
that
Blue Lock?
focus. Yeah, Blue Lock. Sorry, yeah, Blue Lock focuses on just strikers. Al Ashi is good so far. I like it. I'm like 50 chapters in. I'm good. I like it so far. So
I read like the first 50 chapters of Blue Lock like a while ago.
I think I
I
agree with
never
that.
really
I
got
I think after Isagi starts to like be like good, like stop being like a waste you, I'm like, all right, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting a little ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. You want to snowboard at
it's
some
just
point? Let's go snowboarding, bro. For real. I'm gonna start getting some snowboarding equipment. I love snowboarding, man. It's the only thing in the winter. It's the only winter activity that I truly fuck with.
it's just kind of weird because like I don't know. I'm kind of particular, like just kind of. I don't know. Am I particular about my main characters in like sports anime? I think I might be. Like I like Cena because Cena was only put on the team because he was good at one thing, and they specialized the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cena didn't get tall. He didn't get stronger. He didn't get. It's no, bro. You're fast. Learn to reach your top speed consistently. Learn to cut and do this and just have better like field like awareness, and we're gonna get you right. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yep.
Slam dunk. Uh, soccer, soccer. Wow, Hanami, right? Hanami has just a really strong like base. Like we know kid, like as you said, like you're one of them. Like we know people that are like he was just athletic. He has the physical body for it.
Yeah.
So what did they do? The entire show is him learning the fundamentals. There's not one point where he's not like just doing fundamental work. He didn't learn how to shoot the basketball until like his third to last game.
Hmm.
Like what was it for like over half the season? He couldn't even practice with the team. He was literally dribbling in a corner. They're like, we're not having you do like drills like this. And like, bro,
Oddly
learn to
enough, I've been
dribble.
there. I've been in this position where I where there's people in the team. Well, actually, quite literally been in this position in the sense that like I was like I didn't pick up basketball at an early age. The first time I played it seriously was in the 7th grade. I couldn't dribble. I couldn't couldn't. I actually learned how to lay up by I'm like, wait a minute, I can just lay it off the square, but I'm like I have to slow down like the power when I'm going full speed to like get it to like because I used to break layups in the 7th grade. Like I used to I used to miss layups. I actually always make this joke because it's funny because I'm like I had like the worst field goal percentage of all time as a center because I was a center in the 7th grade. And the only reason why I had so many rebounds because I missed so goddamn much. But I'd miss like 4 times to get the ball in. Like I go brick,
Mhm.
get it, brick, then it goes in. So I used to end the game with like 14 points and like 22 rebounds. And my field goal percentage had to be like 35 in my first year. So when they were like doing regular drills, I was working on very rudimentary, fundamental 3-man weave type stuff. And then for football, that was different. I knew how to play, but because I didn't work on my left foot, he do things to force me to do basically play like the drills differently. Like I think I told you before, like everyone have 3 touches. I have 1 touch, left foot only. So okay, we're dribbling in and out the cones. We're gonna shoot it. Everyone just do everything. Naya left foot only. Well, that was kind of like that. So I've been there, but it's interesting because like what I've been thinking of, what Blue Lock did though, is made me think about the different types of sports, anime and manga, and the varying levels it appeals, the varying level of appeal it has to different audiences. You know, where it's like, hold on, I have enough channel points to redeem a praise Tagashi, but I'll never do that. I'm good man, good man. You can suggest a video though, as long as it makes sense. If you want, go ahead. Yeah, like let me ask you guys in the chat. And let me ask you here. Like, what do you guys like? What do you guys? What do you have something specific you look for in a sports manga? Does it have to be a sport that you like or familiar with, or maybe one you're not, so that you don't know the rules, so you can suspend more disbelief? Do you want it to be real? Do you want it to at least crescendo into like supernatural? Do you want it to be straight up supernatural? Like, what makes like a good like sports like anime manga for you? Like, or like, what do you look
I
for?
don't. I don't think the supernatural is a problem. I just want honest and truthful growth. So if you have a crazy like thing like Kuroko no Basket, the special abilities really like Akashi's Emperor honestly doesn't bother me because I think the way he uses it doesn't negate the fact that Akashi can actually play fucking basketball. I think my issue with Kisei and the way copy is used, it's like
If
just
he's
because you
not
see
copying
someone do
somebody,
this,
it's like he can't do anything. I guess.
yeah, and it's not even that, but like, because I know he has like moves, but it's like that's not how like in basketball. Just because you see a move, you can't just redo the move in like because every other environmental factor would have to be equal, which that's just not how that's gonna work. You can't just recopy moves over and over and over again. Like just because someone does a specific way to do a layup doesn't mean you can do that literally 3 seconds later just because you can physically do the move.
Mm.
And it's just like a weird way in which they portray where it's like perfect copy just seems like this de facto like kind of win rate thing where I'm just like he's not using copy smartly. Does that make sense? It's not
Yeah.
like he has like this repertoire of copy moves and he's like, okay, I can't go in deep. Let me pull out. Let me do a quick three of like copying from like someone that I know with like that's a consistent like shooter. He's not doing that. It's this guy does this move. I'm copying it right after for the next play. Like, all right. Same thing with Kagami. Kagami isn't nice. And we
That I
joke
agree
about him
with.
being a zone merchant,
That
but
I
like
agree with. He's not nice
he's
like that.
not. He's
He is a
actually
good
not
defender though.
nice.
He's a good defender.
He's a good defender, but like he also doesn't train anything else. The only thing he trains is literally to jump more. All right, dude. For fucking Meteor Jam, bro. Get your other skills
Nah,
up.
Kakavi was really not fun to follow in my opinion. I really don't like him. He's not interesting to me. I can't explain it.
Like
Like there's something
I
redeemable or
truly
interesting
think
about a
Tepe's a
lot of
better
MCs
player.
in these, but him, I just don't like him.
I really think Tepe's a better player. Honestly.
Well, like fundamentals pound for pound.
Yes.
I don't think that's
No
crazy to say.
no
That's not.
zone, no zone, and Tepe's healthy because we have to remember he literally wasn't healthy and was still going crazy.
Yeah, his knee was
I think
masha.
Tepe's a. In, most people I don't think agree with me on this. I think Tatsuya is a better player than him too. Honestly, I think in that game, Tatsuya showed way more skill and finesse.
Tatsuya. Oh, his
That's
friend, his
his
friend.
friend. Yeah,
Well, Tiger. No,
I
that nigga
think
can't. He can't play defense though. So he trash.
is that he can't play defense or he wasn't needed to do it because his team is literally a defensive team.
Yeah, movie soccer bar. Fair enough. More realism is what I
You know what I mean?
prefer over the top. The thing I want to see from sports series is seeing a lot of training and seeing the results from that. When Sarmar masters a new pitch, okay. So you're like, you're probably more in my. See, that's the thing about me. Like, I don't actually. I'll say this right. Actually, no. I'll get to that in a second because we'll lose our train of thought here. What were we just saying about Tatsuya? Oh yeah. What I hated about Tatsuya was like, don't act like you didn't just play a Yomine equally. Like he's not nicer than him, bro. You better just fucking stop him. I'm not trying to see that. They should have played him first then, because I don't want to see that shit. That was not moving me. Even that one guy in Akashi's team about power dribble, I use 5 fingers. I'm like, you beat a Yomine 1-on-1. If you don't fix up, I'ma lose it.
It's
Cause he nicer than
it's
all these burgers.
that I think that's the issue with sports anyway sometimes too is you can make better arguments sometimes I think with like fantasy and battle shonen of like you're not stronger than this person because you beat them in a fight, right?
Yeah.
And you could I think sports anime doesn't usually do that well.
The
Where it's
lesson
like
was that
Amine was a better player,
yes, but
but he
his team,
lost.
but he didn't buy into the team dynamic. But
Yes.
if you think about zone for zone, they went at it evenly, and
Yes.
Naomi's zone
But
ran out first. And it's stupider when you think about it because he has such a deep understanding of it,
yes.
talking about there's layers to this, there's levels in depth, there's a fucking door, and he can forcibly do it. You know you know your conditions, but how do you get outzoned? Like I just that
That's
series,
why I'm like
yeah.
that's why I'm like Almeida should have just never lost. I'm sorry.
No, I think the biggest mistake that they did was they tried to do this. Okay, how could we interject immediate tension and suspense? Have them play against a team that just destroyed them in the first round of the Winter Cup. I get that. I understand, but if you don't progress things properly, you start to have a lot of like consistency issues, which is ultimately, as much as I know it's just a fun supernatural basketball manga, that's one of the things that upsets me the most. I don't think it's consistent. I don't think that the progression makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
because have you ever heard my number one criticism about like Kisei? And like Kakashi, aside from his idiot ass scoring on his own net, I don't care how good you are. I don't care who you think you are. You shoot in my own net. You have to fight me. You have to fight me. Just know that. I don't care. I don't care if he's Akashi. I don't care
What's
if
your
you're
biggest
Kobe.
criticism?
I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. You put the ball in our own basket. I'm fighting you. That being said, Haizaki was kicked out of the Generation of Miracles team back in Teiko or whatever
Oh
because they
yeah,
said
yeah.
Kisei was gonna be better than him. But my question was he better than him though already? Right? That guy does not practice, does not play, doesn't care about the sport. All he cares about is bitches and whatever and doing his own thing. And despite keeping that mentality a year or 2 years after the fact, he was still better than Kisei until he pulled out Perfect Copy. What the fuck were we doing?
Yes, that's true. That's
So
100% true.
unserious. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about. That stuff bothers me because that's just bad writing as far as I'm concerned, right? Like they didn't care about being a cohesive unit. They will use their individual skills to crush their opponents. That's why Kuroko left. So what the fuck was the problem with Haizaki being there? You all had terrible attitudes. Ayame didn't
This
practice. Murisaki Bara was like whatever. Akashi was a fucking dual personality maniac. Midorima was probably the one that was probably the most serious about things, all things considered. But he's very superstitious and weird. Who am I forgetting? Forgetting somebody. Kisei, he's like new. I don't know, whatever. Kisei's probably fine, but
yeah.
yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate, even though I don't agree with this point at all. But I guess the argument that someone could make is they didn't make the decision until the end of their third year that they weren't going to the same high school. So maybe Akashi was thinking long term, but even then, it's just like why would like just have Kisei be like the sixth man then
And still,
and still wait.
Izaki was in all the way up until he pulled out perfect copy. Was better than him. I just
Yes,
want to
I
just
agree.
doesn't move me. They could win because the team screws something up and they're a bit better, but the team publishing mistakes. Listen, Rukawa scoring 30 in the first half is top tier. Rukawa, I'm not a slam dunk super merchant, but I like slam dunk. I gotta
Ruka,
that's gonna
bruh,
reread. But
he,
we're gonna do a slam dunk ranking where we talk about the best scorers and defenders and things of that
bro,
nature.
Ruka made me a believer. He made me. I used to not like him, but man, is that boy's nice.
I feel it.
He put it, and I think this is another big important thing about just sports like anime in general. Training is one like just seeing on screen training. I think is just so crucial because most of the sport is training. That's mostly what you're doing. Most of your time isn't playing games. It's the actual training. So like Kuroko no Basket, I think just on the training aspect just failed a lot. Honestly.
They rushed it. They did a lot of off-screen training, and then when the time that they pulled out a new move or used a new move when it was relevant, they'd flash back to it. They had that style of storytelling. I didn't really like it that much, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize I didn't like that until really Haikyuu and Dino Ace, because even Prince of Tennis does a good job of this. They do a lot of training, a lot of games before they go to certain tournaments or the next stage in the tournament. Where I remember the first time that Fuji and Etch and Ryoma played, but it started to rain, so we had to stop when he kept serving the really high balls to see if like he could like smash it a certain type of way. Can't remember what it was like. And then Inoue, the data tennis guy who learned from Renji from I can't remember Yukimura's Hanada's team right now for some reason. I can't remember their school. What the fuck was their school called? Damn. Anyways, like his data tennis stuff. So using his intellect and understanding different players and their physique to train them a certain type of way. Kaido swinging the little rag in the water so he can complete his boomerang snake or his snaking and everything like that. Like they actually trained a decent amount in Prince of Tennis. In my opinion. So but I think it was when Diane at IQ, I'm like, oh yes, this is what I was waiting for. Um,
Hmm.
I even like the concept and idea that even though you could be really good or like the best, everyone has off days, and sometimes it's not even that you're like it's your mentality that's affecting you physically. Where like I can't remember what happened with Furia in one game, but he got overzealous and then his pitching got out of control and he started pitching them too high and they became balls and then he ended up having to come out even though he started the game off really well. Like I just find that they capture that realism a lot better, but I don't necessarily need it to be realistic. So let me kind of explain like for myself, right? I think I noticed this about me. The less I know about the sport, the more supernatural, surreal things I'm willing to accept because it's not a sport that I really engage in playing myself. So I think when it
Hmm.
comes to basketball and football, which I mean soccer specifically, it's very hard for me to suspend my disbelief in certain things. Like if you like, I think in Blue Lock, what's the guy's name that was with Rio? The rich, the lazy guy who just watches his phone all the time. He's just naturally talented. He was with the rich guy. I can't remember his name. He did a
Oh,
mid-air fake
yeah.
shot where he kept it in place and landed and ripped it. I said, you can't do that shit. That's not possible. I all right, Yomine with the 1-2. He fell sideways behind the net. He threw it up and went over it, came back. I'm like, nigga, what? Like I have those moments because I play these and I know like the limitations. And not that you couldn't get lucky and do something like that, but like to willingly go and do that at the age that they're at, I'm just like, no, I'm not buying it, right? And like I've always said, like I call it anime science. I like anime science doesn't always bother me. Do I believe that if Fuji can hit the ball with his forearm with so much topspin that when it hits the ground, it would just roll and not bounce? I suppose. Sure.
Mhm.
Even Rio was twist serve. The twist serve, curving and bending to your face like that, exaggerated. But I also know that that's based off a kick serve, so it doesn't bother me as much. But like, I think because of like some of those sports, like a baseball and stuff, I don't understand it. I have a much more outsider understanding of like someone looking in. It doesn't bother me as much, or I'll accept a lot more nonsense. But when it comes to football, especially, I find myself going like, yeah, all right, bro. A mid-air elastico, okay. don't know, don't know about that, but I could enjoy it as long as I think that there's some level of consistency and cohesiveness. That's generally what I need. Like
Yeah.
I think Prince of Tennis, as supernatural as it got, had that until the new series. Then I don't know what happened to him. He decided he just didn't want to make tennis anymore, and they started having blood sport in disguise as tennis match. But I think that Prince of Tennis had that good balance of like that surrealism and realism at the beginning at least. I think National is when it gets wild though. So I've been talking for a while. My bad. They could win because it. Wait, this. Oh wait, I don't mind getting to sports series. I know nothing about the sports. I only get interested in researching about the sport of the series is good. That's fair. It helps if it's usually at least based on something real somehow. Okay, I gotta get you. I feel it. But yeah, Blue Lock is probably something like again, it made me thought it made me think a lot. So at the end of the day, you got to give it its credit. But Owl actually is the one that I like more. I think Blue Lock is mid that hits. Like, I get it. I could see me catching up and just never reading it again. So that's probably what's gonna happen. It's also like
I think
I also want real matches, not just like I'm in this fucking cage, goddamn facility doing all this ego shit. Like play a real match. Go ahead.
yeah, like I think the thing about Blue Lock, it's like I think it I don't think it takes itself seriously. Like I think it knows what it is and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shohei Barrow, like he's just funny to me. Like the dude,
That the king
the
guy?
dude was like, "I'm the king."
Yeah, yeah. It was around his like transformation that I'm like, okay, now you're starting to really lose me. Okay, I'll say
Like
this
this
right.
is so unserious, but
It
it's
has
funny.
rhetorical level of dialogue where I can't take it serious. We're talking about
Hold on now.
my appetite is my calorie intake. I'm like, all right, bro, like I can't take this seriously. Just me personally, Nia Hemmings, no one else. I can't take that dialogue seriously. So when so when he's talking about some like, oh, what did he what happened? He like get up loser and he's like oh he like psychologically lost himself and then he's like maybe I could just be a supporting player. And he's like oh but at that moment he felt that he would lose himself and then he like I'm like bro I can't take this seriously. There's been like 4 awakenings in this 1 3-on-3 match. Fucking Isagi and the Barrow and this guy had like 45 awakenings devouring one another in unison. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't take this seriously.
I
But I
think,
get why it appeals to people.
yeah, I think there's a certain thing of like we have to be honest. These are high schoolers playing a sport, right?
They're
Like
not even I don't think they're
using words,
in their last year. Aren't they in their like 11th grade too?
yeah. So like using words like devour or kill or anything like that in sports, it's just like no one actually talks like that.
Mhm.
Like no one's saying that. Like at worst, it's like
Well,
we
I
gotta
think
fuck these
Nagy's what I'm
guys
thinking
up.
of. Is Nagy the guy who was with Rio?
Yeah, Nagi's
Okay, there we
the
go. He did like the genius trapper, the
white
trapper
hair.
guy. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like we gotta be honest. Like you can show raw emotion and that they're really serious about this shit without using words like kill and devour.
Yeah. Like basically how okay you know what you just did you made it make sense to me you made it come full circle. It's the Akashi line. It's the Akashi moment of him scoring on his own net. I think like somewhat cutting his hair and saying I'll if we lose I'll gouge my eyes out and give them to you type of thing. But that's like every line in Blue Lock. Like every line is that level of ridiculous and over the top. And I think that appeals to certain people, and I get it and I see it. But I'm like, if y'all just don't have like a normal speech bubble, please, you don't got to do this every bubble where it's like, this tepid play. I do like how you say it don't be moving him. He tried to steal my gimmick. I'm the unmoved bitch. I think his name was Rin, number one guy or whatever it was at the time. But just like every time, just like I gotta kill him and the monster inside me. It's like, bro, why is it so edgy? It's just funny to me. But again, I like that it's an easy read. But I won't lie to you, when Isagi starts going in his head and try to like fucking map the player, I just be skimming that shit. I'm not reading that. Fucking no.
Yeah.
Maybe skimming.
Like the only time I've seen in a sports anime them
Mhm.
using kill and like it making sense is like Hajime no Ippo, where
Mhm.
like Mashiba Mashiba was actually like about to fuck up Sawada and like was like, I kind of low key want to kill this guy. And like at the very least, from what he was doing illegal moves while in the boxing match, he was going to put that boy in the hospital for like a grip. Like when they're talking about like I want to kill you, and the other guy he's fighting is a literal like sociopath, that makes sense. These are like dudes in their mid 20s in an actual like
Combat
national
sport too.
Japan, yeah, like combat sport where like they actually hate each other and
Mhm.
actually want to do like real like long lasting harm. That makes sense. Like, bro, this is soccer. No
Like this
disrespect,
is this is
bro.
this is a sport. If you touch somebody, they fall down and roll like 85 times.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me. It's one of those. What's up, Dave? It's one of those things where like I like the general premise of it from the standpoint of I could understand why somebody from Japan would think this is the thing that their sport needs because of like the way that they're like, in Japan, you're more like a cog in the machine. You don't go against the grain or you get blacklisted and things like that. Like you're a part of a collective. You play your part. You play your role to the best of your ability, which is why they've always been good enough to get on the grand stage, right? Where it's like we got good defenders who are willing to give the ball up and unselfish players, blah blah blah. But how often do you see a Japanese superstar or play or athlete be demonstratively like how Americans tend to be like, I'm the fucking GOAT, nigga. I'm that dude. Like, they don't do that. They like, hi, I'm happy to be here. Bow once and like go and they be quiet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Hmm.
I actually understand that, and I think there's a bit of a point here that's interesting. Cause like my favorite character is Jinpachi, by the way. Jinpachi Ego, the guy who runs Blue Lock. He's my favorite character
Yeah.
because a lot of what he says, I'm like, there's some truth and there's some merit here. Now they take it over the top and they exaggerate it. So obviously, I'm like, okay, like you've gone a little too far. You're off the deep end. But there's a lot of modicums of truth in a lot of things that he's doing and saying, and the importance of believing yourself and having confidence and having a bit of an ego when you want to be the best, right? And so, as Mook said earlier, the devour shit is real though. Like that is a rare mentality. Like the thing, that's a rare mentality that only very few people in sports really have to like to see someone better than them and want to take them down like that. Most people get demoralized very easily. Trust me, and
Yeah.
even I've been a victim of that in my own way, right? So it's just the way that it's presented sometimes where I'm like, oh my god, this is a bit much for me. But again, I see the appeal. I get why motherfuckers like it. I wonder if the anime does it in a different way or even more exaggerated way. I'd be interested to see that maybe, but I won't even reading it, so I haven't watched it. But
Yeah. That's that's why I don't mind, even as you were saying, I don't mind egoism because like there is a huge mental component to sports that to me, like for someone who was mainly doing track, right? Like the mental part of track is so much more than the average person would realize
yeah,
because it's just you for the most part. There's no like you can't mess up because there's nothing, no one else can pick up your slack. You can't make a mistake or that's it. Like just being slightly off takes off fractions of your time, and those really mean a lot. Like hundredths of a second and 100-meter dash is a lot. That could be first to fourth, you know.
yep.
Like the mental aspect, you like there's so much like
You don't win by
yeah,
9 seconds. You win by like point
yeah.
couple seconds.
Do I want to say pre-ritual stuff? Like the entire point of like when you're in the process of it, that's why warming up is like 30-minute to an hour process even before you do the 100. You do your laps. you do your stretching, you do your drills, and you repeat whatever you feel like you need. You don't like. I remember I was
Mhm.
like at some points I used to talk and like be chill, but at some points I was like, I just don't feel like talking. Like, don't bother me for a little bit, you know? Like, let me get away from people. Let me get in the zone. I gotta get in my shit. That's why even like Kuroko, I like the zone and other things because I do think that's like one of the more realistic things. Not that it makes you 50 times better, but like the point of like there are times when you're
Locking in and
doing the
going into the
sport
zone is a real concept.
and
They just
you're
gave it
not
like a
thinking.
anime,
Yeah,
you know, supernatural, you know, like I get what you mean. Like,
like there's times I've done the 200 or done. I was on the 4x4 and like I'll hand it off the baton or I'll just finish. I'm like, when did I get here? Like I literally thought no thoughts. It's just
yeah,
blank in my mind. Like I'm just going. At most, the most I'm thinking of is just my breathing.
I would say with me, what happens is I actually in a weird way lose the ability to hear a lot of things around me. Like the
Yes,
crowd
yes,
becomes mute,
yes,
right? And even my teammates become mute, but somehow I'm able to understand what's happening. Even if they say something to me, I'm not hearing you, but I know what you're
yes,
saying, and things slow down for me. That's usually what happens. Like I'm not like literally like bullet time. I'm Clark Kent in Smallville. Everyone stops, but like things slow down. Like I will see something happen, and it looks like did he just glitch in the air and like go around somebody and do that? But like I saw that slower to me, but in real time it probably looks weird. But it's just like a lot of the things that they have that add a supernatural element to this, I understand what they're based in. Like you said, the zone is not going to make your eyes do all that whatever right. But when you're locked in like that and you're so focused on the game and you're not thinking about any access stuff, your performance tends to go up. You kind of go like, nuclear, you go lights out. That happens. I don't know how to forcibly trigger it, but it happens a lot of times in sports still. But kill,
yes.
like, am I going to show them and beat them enough for the ego? Kill, I feel you. Hyping yourself up is real though. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's
why I
still true.
kind of liked it until like Akashi could kind of go into it at will because it's like it makes so much more sense as something that you can't just go into
Mhm.
because that's just how it is. Like when you're doing things, it's like you repeat these actions so much. You do drills and you do actions so much that you hope you don't have to think about it when you're doing it.
It's
That
actually
is the end
why I
goal.
don't like Isagi's constant monologuing. You don't have time to think like that in the game. There's
Yes.
no time in the game where I've had legitimate, full on, top to bottom thoughts that way. It's like if anything, it's not that I don't think, but they're snappy. Where I'm like, this guy does not like to go left, force him left. Like that's it. That's the thought. That was it. Like it wasn't even like a Well, you see, I've been surveying the field for the last few minutes, and I noticed something about Barrow. When he likes to run, he drifts to the right naturally, and every time he does that, this player number 11 always looks. So if I cut behind, like bro, no one's doing that. That's very rare. You do not have that much time in the game to have all these goddamn thoughts. That's why I'd be skipping. I'm like, bro, just. But through experience, wisdom, repetition, film, and constantly working on your craft and getting your experience points up, you start to be able to do these things intuitively and instinctively. So you might actually, in some weird way, be having the thought process, but you're not having it. It's like a quick, you know what you're seeing because you've seen it so many times before. So so yeah. Um, Hyping yourself is real though. I don't even know if I've ever needed to hype myself up. I've never needed to, no one needs to light a fire under my ass or put a battery in my back. But I do have the next gear problem. Like if you okay problem, but like if you piss me off, I'll play better. Like I'll come and do what needs to be done. But you can come and anger me, and I'll score 4 goals now because you just pissed me off. You don't have to do that. That I have. That's the thing I'll say I have. But I
I
never have to
don't.
like
I
hype
don't.
myself up. I
I'm
like I
actually
always
not.
said.
I'm not better angry.
But I always
I'm
say
actually not.
I'm not if I'm frustrated or irritated, that's different. I'm not gonna play well. If I'm pissed off, it's over. I could
Nah,
play
I'm
with
not.
I
I'm
could
not good at
internalize
any
my
of it.
rage well. I know how to use it properly without letting it consume me, if that makes sense.
I get devoured by I get devoured by my. I'm like I have to have like the my all my optimal ones were just always like that quiet confidence.
Uh, yeah.
That's just like when I'm at my best. I'm like, okay, I've done my work. I'm here. I'm just gonna ball out. Let's get it popping.
Yeah.
and then just go from there. That's usually when I'm like, when I'm not like, because I'm just an overthinker by nature. So when I just tend to not think too much, and I'm like, I did the time. We're already at this place. Thinking won't do like much better. Just
Mhm.
go in there. That's usually when I perform my best.
I also want to add this little caveat to like sports, anime, and manga. I do notice that people who definitely did play a lot of sports or competed at a high level, and people who absolutely did not, they look at it completely differently or pretty
Yes.
differently. I've always found that divide to be very interesting in my own in my honest opinion. I don't even get mad half the time. I'm just like, that's interesting. Like, you really think that like that's just a thing that people could just do normally like that? Like you just really, you never sported. I have one friend who's like, he plays a lot of esports and local esports stuff. So like, I guess he competes in that sense. So like, he has the like competing aspect against someone who's really good, like down, but not like the physical stuff, because he's just pressing buttons for the most part. Not to say that like I'm not trying to downplay esports. I actually still think that it's like takes a lot of skill and whatnot. But I've always been like, if you can be fat and do the sport, it's not really a sport to me, but like it's still a high level game or activity. So like poker is not a sport to me. Like you could be fat and play poker. It's not moving me personally. But I am here.
Poker's
I'm present.
classified
I'll
as a
always be here.
sport.
What's up? Huh? I think so. That's my check. I think poker was a sport. Channeling anger into
Interesting.
sport without rage makes sense. It's like I can't remember. I can't. I actually hear this line a lot in anime and stuff too. I'm trying to remember the line. It's like a hot heart or hot blood but cool head. You ever heard something like that? I can't remember the quote verbatim, but it's like
I think so.
the passion in your heart is on fire type of thing, but your head is cool. You're not letting it overwhelm your brain. So sometimes what
Yeah.
happens is a play or something or a call or whatever, it just or a comment made to me by somebody in the crowd or on the field, and I'm like, okay, now I'm angry. That it just kicking it the high gear, I guess. But there's times where
I've
I
had
could
that
get
in real
frustrated and
life.
irritated. Mm.
I've had that in real life. I don't think I've had that because I mean, you're not really talking too much shit in track. The most shit I got from was more so from my teammates, where it's like, you can't lose to these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
track
yeah,
is
yeah.
more like, bro, if you lose, you're trash, or if you do lose, if you don't get first, you get shitted on by the team. Where it's like, I can't. I gotta. I'm
I
fighting for
understand.
myself.
I understand that.
I gotta fight for me. I'm sorry. I gotta use you guys as stepping stones.
Another thing I was. No, I hear you, man. I haven't done track since the 10th grade. Track is the thing that I miss oddly. Any other sport that I played, I never missed it when I stopped. Like I don't miss basketball, but track was something I miss doing. I liked I liked
Track
I
was
liked
that's all I did, man. I was
I
a
liked
hard
track.
track guy.
I was like a multi-sports guy for a long time, even though football was the first thing that I really played. But I would say around 15, that's when I started to laser in my focus on just playing football. So,
I was like super small, like for a long, long time.
mhm.
So like I just couldn't, and I still low key don't have hand eye coordination. So the other sports just didn't like really come to me. It was like, oh, just do track because I have an older brother that did like he was a multi sport guy.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, dude, just do track, and I started track like really young, like I think 11, and then I did it, but like I really didn't get like good until like sophomore year of high school. Like my body was actually just getting a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
And then when it was that, I was like, oh, okay, this a lot of things are coming a lot easier. And then I just got a lot better.
I've been lucky and blessed with a lot of God-given natural physical ability and talent, but it's more related to like speed and agility more than anything else. I know some people think that like I do think I know people who naturally have had like just general better upper body strength than me. My lower body strength and core are stronger than most people that I know, but just upper body strength and just pure arms and whatnot. I do think a lot of people misunderstand what they're seeing and interpret. And this is why I say I find it interesting when people who like play sports a lot or whatever understand it, and people who don't are kind of like watching a sporting match or like a game or something, because I'm sure somebody would pick up that the reason that I'm not getting bodied in a situation where the guy is like twice my size is because I'm low to the ground. I'm using my technique. I'm planting my feet and he's upright straight, trying to just use his arm and upper body strength to push me, but he's going against my entire body. It actually is. I actually remember there's an instance of this in Kuroko where Teppei's like, get lower, so you could stop it from moving you like that off the block, right? I'm like that's something that's easy for me to pick up on. Where I'm like, that guy's stronger than him, but he has better technique. That's why he's winning
Yeah.
that whatever, you know. So I've always been like, because I am bottom heavy too. So there's that. Like I'm the one like, for me when people say skip leg day, I laugh because for me it's like I used to skip arm day. I was like I was the opposite, right? Like I'd hate to people still don't know this. I hate lifting weights. I don't enjoy that shit. Lifting is not fun. I don't like lifting. I do it every day though. Gotta get done. I don't actually like lifting.
I enjoy it. Well, it depends. There's certain like there's definitely a lot of days where I'm
Cardio,
just like,
running, doing
I
drills and stuff, I
can't.
love that. But just taking this heavy piece of shit and lifting it and putting it back down, I hate it. I enjoy working out. Working out is the best part of my day, though. I agree with that, but because I could just kind of tune out and work on my body, I guess. But yeah. The other thing about Blue Lock that I think is getting old for me is everybody's ego and monster and how it comes out. Like everyone's all, "Ooh, I'm gonna devour him. I'm gonna devour ooh, my monster, my ego," and the eyes get like colored in, and then the shadowy aura comes. I'm like, this is getting old kind of fast for me, low key. Whereas like, that's why I like that one guy on the team with 1, 2, and 3 who was like a nervous wreck. I'm like, at least he's like different in that sense. Like he was like really good and has like a really good physical body, but he's like, I don't know, he's weird. And there's also another anime and manga that like does the over the top personalities thing to make it easier for people to just start to understand everybody. It's weird quirks and hang ups and whatnot. Like they're all pretty zany and eccentric. But sometimes I like when the characters are a lot more grounded and maybe they don't have those extreme personalities, but I just think it's a different style of storytelling. I don't mind it because I do like it in One Piece. Everyone's fucking crazy in One Piece, you know, because there's the one guy, because there's always a beauty merchant. So remember the one guy, the long lanky guy who just like
Yeah.
steal or whatever is like, like, you know, like swag. Like I'm like, okay, like these these aren't moving me like that, but I guess for when you, if you're not gonna focus on all these characters for a long prolonged period of time and they're gonna get eliminated and not be in the story to that degree, I think that this is probably a better route to go. So at least they stand out. I don't know if you agree with that. I'm on chapter
Uh,
106. By the way,
a,
yeah, go ahead.
a blue lock?
Yeah.
Oh, you're way past me. I think I was at the part where they were in like the second trials where like they were doing a thing where you win a game, you get a partner, you lose a partner, you go down one.
Oh yeah, that's I yeah, I just got out of that. Okay, yeah, yeah.
I'm at there in the I literally ended off where he was it was Isagi, Bondo, and Nagi versus three of Isagi's previous teammates. Like that's literally where I
From
stopped.
block Z. Okay, with the speed
Yeah.
merchant, the guy who looks like Ichigo, and then I remember the other one.
Yes.
Rio. Okay.
That's literally where I stopped.
Okay. It's funny because I ended up passing you, Vince, and Pat. I guess
I
it's
read
a
like the
very
first 50
easy
straight
read
and
to
I was
me.
like,
That's why.
yeah, it really is. I read the first 50 fast and I'm like, do I really feel like continuing up and then keeping up weekly with this? And I was just like, nah.
I'm
If
doing
like
it for the
worst comes to
stream.
worst, I'll just do it when it finishes if I really want to. Cause I was like, cause I don't feel like reading 200 and then forgetting it for like you know what I mean? So I was like, I'll just stop now. And if it finishes, I'll just go back to it.
I'm doing it for content because I also want to do a
Yeah.
contrasting comparison of that and Aoashi, which I think is interesting. How different they are, but how they have some commonality and overlap. I'm interested in talking about that too. So that's what the anime is now too. I think Pat told me he was only watching it, so that makes sense. I thought he was reading it, but yeah. So I yeah, but that's kind of like the thing I just kind of got out of. So I hear you. What I think is still going to happen, which I think will be interesting, is well, I guess you could say I'm hoping for this. I'm hoping that the guy from the first block who got eliminated, who was like the treasure of Japan, who beat Isagi in that original like the first match that he was playing. I want to know if he's gonna come back as an antagonist because he got eliminated the way that he did. Because he was supposed to be nice. And the reason that reason I say that too is like, see, look at me, man. Like I'm actually like taking this manga a lot more seriously than I thought I would because I actually have been retaining a lot of information despite my you could call it speed run reading. Jinpachi lied about like the people in the first block eating like caviar and whatever,
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
the
yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
right? So I'm like, if he's supposed to be that nice, why is he in block Z with the bottom of the barrel? Unless Jinpachi just didn't see that was like when he's like, oh, you over whatever. Hold on, I actually have the panel here. I'm gonna find it. Look at me, I'm saving panels too. I feel your gripes. Later, something happens that maybe lose. I guess my interest in Blue Lock. I still read it, but take it seriously. That's fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with just reading some mid that hits. You don't have to take everything super seriously. It's not a big deal. Okay, this part here, right? He says, "How many prodigies have you crushed with your approach?" And I agree with this. I like him. I like him. The guy who like runs the whatever, he's like, "What do you mean, Ego-kun? You waste no time in declaring somebody a prodigy. Then the stupid bandwagon fans go crazy over the new national prodigy and blow their money and time on jersey and tickets. Um, then the poor prodigy heads overseas to play, but due to culture shock and language barrier, they can't meet expectations. And after 2 3 years, they come back to Japan and spend the rest of their lives or careers in a mid-level domestic league. As long as this scenario, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I actually agree with the thing where we crown people as geniuses or like the second coming of Larry Bird or Michael Jordan or whatever way too quickly. And when they don't live up to expectations, we're like, what a bust or whatever. I'm like, you did not give them a chance to be themselves. And
Yeah.
this is especially true in football with how volatile it is, man. Football fans have always, in my opinion, been the most ruthless fan base of sports that I've ever seen. Miles,
Yeah.
you could have a 4 year stretch that was great, and let's say your production drops 1 year for like 6 games. You're washed. Time to transfer you. All kinds of shit. Put him
Oh,
on
oh
the
no, no,
bench.
I've
You
seen.
got a nigger monkey first touch. You were never that good anyways. They're crazy.
Yeah,
They're unhinged.
throwing bananas.
I've never liked football fans ever in my fucking life. I've always hated how unhinged they
Yeah,
are.
I remember.
It's the most embarrassing thing about liking the sport. Go ahead.
What was this, like a year or two ago, when like I forgot what London lost, and they were like trying to go around like low key lynching black people in the streets. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because you guys lost. And the way they like yell and scream at just certain like of their like foreign like players and stuff, I'm like, this is kind of like insane.
Mm. But yeah. Um, the people
That's
that
my thing with sports fans in general, though. Like, I just never liked the owning mentality fans feel towards them.
yeah.
It's just so weird. It's like you have to. This was like, no, their job is just to play and do well. They're doing that. Like, it's just weird. I don't know.
I just don't know that every single person so yeah, so sorry, I remember that greater point. So the ego thing, right? When Jinpachi said that, I wonder if he saw that Rika guy, whatever his name. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, I remember his name. The guy, but you're talking about this is who got kicked in the
Ren?
face in the very first. Yeah, no, was it? I don't think it was Ren.
Oh no, not Ren.
It was in the when they first got the blue lock. It was the one guy who spoke against ego.
Oh
He's like, nah, it's a
yeah, yeah,
team
yeah.
sport. What are you talking about? But he stayed so he could change it. But he was supposed to be like a prodigy. He was the treasure of Japan. He was to be this and that, whatever. But remember the dribbler merchant and Isagi got
Yes,
him out the paint because they bought him in his
yes.
face. I want him to come back with a vengeance. I'm hoping he comes back. Truly, I do. Um, I'm saying, did Jinpachi see him as an overinflated prodigy, as he said in that line? So because a lot of stuff came full circle after the facts from like, oh no, like there isn't some fucking first class from like 1 to 10, 11 eating caviar and shrimp and whatever they want to eat, steak and stuff. Everyone here is actually like the ones that you saw there. So I'm like, okay, interesting. So I wonder if he really wasn't that good then. Is basically what I'm saying, and that these guys have already
I,
surpassed him. I wonder. So I really hope he comes back. Go ahead.
I think they look. I mean, the one that we saw, I think they probably a lot of them have. I think it's one of those things of like, well, even if you fail, the thing is, no matter what, the person that does succeed and wins Blue Lock would still be way better than him anyway. And I feel like if this was a thing of Blue Lock, like they were trying to make the best team, then I feel like that's different. But since they're trying to just make one singular player, even if they
Apparently,
lose Super
someone told me the
Geniuses.
the top 5 people will be on the team though. I don't know if that's true, but but I hear you. I hear you. Go ahead. Keep
Oh,
going. Keep going. I don't know if that's
okay,
true. Someone told me that, but I'm like, maybe I skipped that
yeah,
and they didn't register that because they kept saying sacrifice 299 for one.
for one striker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're getting one striker, the end goal would be no matter what that person would. I guess there is that like thing of like, well, Ren seems to be the best player by far, and if Ren gets out, could the end result player ever be better than Ren? Possibly, but even if he's not better than Ren, I would assume he would at least be like right there next to him. So it's one of those things of like the end result player that's made would still at least be way better than anybody else that claims himself to be a prodigy. So it's like we can lose him because we're still making one guy, and he has to be the best no matter what anyway.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you because I was also confused about that because here's what because I kept thinking like this, but this is when they told me like, oh no, they said that like the top 5 or whatever would be on the U20 team or whatever. So maybe I'm misremembering that. If that's wrong or if that's right, someone can you confirm that in the chat if you remember? But I'm like, does this make sense? Because does Jinpachi actually just want is his like manager philosophy that if they have that type of striker, that's all they need. It doesn't matter how good the other 10 players are because ideally the person who came second in Blue Lock would they not be the second best striker in the world? So would you not want them to be on the team? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
what are we doing? I kept having that thought, but I know so many different coaches and managers who have a completely different approach to football. You'll meet managers who are like, "What do you think about football?" Like, it's a complex sport. And like, oh no, it's not that complicated. You put the ball in the back of the net. You put the ball back in the net more than the other team. You win. That's it. Then you'll have some other people who are like, it's the beautiful game and the way that the defense and the attacking third and like they'll pontificate about how artistic the sport is. Like people have different ways of looking at the game. So I wonder if it's his is like if you have that one striker that's clinical, who's going to be a hero in the clutch moment, the clutch time. Doesn't matter how good your other strikers are, the defenders are, the midfielders are. All you need is that nigga. So
I
interesting
take
to
it as
think
one.
about.
I think he's doing like an overly gross simplification of it. Of like, well, if you have the best striker, we're gonna score a lot of points. But I take
Yeah.
it as he's also doing that thing. I think he kind of like hints at it with Bondo,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like when you have this person that has so much confidence and the skill to match, everything else will just fall into place, and they will also invigorate the teammates to be better.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
So I think he's also trying to use them as kind of like a beacon. Like if we have this person, the team will be better just as a result because they're gonna have to like try to keep up with him, while also influencing future generations. I think, but like it's one of those things of like in real like one person that like to put that and say only one person can do that's kind of like you know.
Mm,
But that would be what I'm assuming they're trying to say.
okay. Because I'm about to give you my philosophy in a second. Maybe top 5. Any characters moving you? Ego Jinpachi is my favorite character. My second favorite character is the probably dribbler couldn't remember his name. Probably him.
He's probably my favorite. Because I feel like
I
he's like
like
the
this.
most like
Yeah. I like him. So
I, I don't want to
dribbler
say
couldn't.
honest about the sport, but like honesty and like in a weird way of kind of like not to say that others don't love the game, but like it's just like it feels a little pure. Like
He's the one that seems to have the most baseline general joy and love for the game, despite some people thinking he's weird. But Shira, there we go.
yeah,
Whatever. And I like the chapter with his mom talking to him about the monster because she's like a painter or whatever. That was pretty cool.
and he can
Um,
dribble.
yeah,
You got the handles.
yeah. Um,
I like the
I
technical
want to like
skill.
Nagi, but I just kind of think he's a nonsense character, so it's just hard for me to like him. Like, I'm trying. I am. I am. I don't like hate him, but just like this guy's never played. He's doing all this. Yeah, all right, bro. Like
I like
Um,
Nagi and Bondo like together. Like I thought they were like a
their
funny.
dynamic is hilarious. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. With
Vondo's like an actual super neat freak. He's like, nah, we can't.
yes, like bro,
Like,
don't
clean it
dry
back
your
for your
hair
shit,
though.
bro.
It's wet. It's like yeah. Like he has his way of going about things and stuff. But I might be warming up to Bondo a little bit, but I thought that his whole little thing was interesting. But like, but what ended up making me take it better is that he could admit, like he able to admit, like nah, like I was unpolished. I had to go through that to
Yeah.
get better. But don't get it twisted. I'm still the king, my nigga. I'm like, okay, all right,
I
okay,
even liked when he first played Isaga, Isag, and he was like, look, you like, you're not nice.
yeah,
Like, get the fuck out my way. You're not that guy. And he was low key spitting.
he was, he was. Would make more sense to find other position if players show the talent. I mean, it's weird if he search for the striker, but also other positions. It's just weird because like now people are playing keeper. How am I supposed to get better as a striker being a net? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like
They,
it's not a perfect
yeah.
system, but ultimately, I guess if I take it at face value, they are literally saying I am willing to sacrifice the future of 229 young Japanese up and coming players for that one striker. I think if you keep that in the back of your mind, ultimately this program is what it is. But now I'm gonna give you the Naya philosophy about how greedy I am. Right? Let me tell you about my
Oh, yeah.
egoism. All right?
You think you could win? You think you win in Blue Lock?
Do I think I win Blue Lock? I will. Based on what I've seen, no one there is physically better than me. But technically, I'd have to probably up my game a bit. Especially, I'm thinking like being up about 17ish. I
Yeah.
know I'd be the fastest in there. I'm confident that like in terms of overall agility, but yeah, I'd be confident. I'd be fine. But the thing about it is, I'm not a striker, so I probably wouldn't have went. I probably wouldn't listen to him because I don't necessarily agree with his philosophy. Like that speech moved all of them. That wouldn't have moved me. I'm like, all right,
Naya.
dude.
Hey, Naya. You faster than the princess. Better dribbles.
No, because remember, there's the
Stronger
one
than
guy like,
thunder.
oh, he's like there's the one guy number 3. He's like super agile and flexible in terms of the way he runs and he can recover quickly. I have that. There's the glasses guy who's like stupid as fuck. Like he's dumb, but he's fat, but he has good acceleration. My acceleration is good, and my top speed is good. So I'm better than all of them immediately. But hold on, I'll circle back to that. I'm so like I guess you could say greedy or like I'm so focused on being like not a jack of all trades, a master of everything. I want to score the goal. I want to have the most goals. I want to have the most assists. I also want to have the most passing, a progressive passing into the attacking third, on top of having the most tackles in the game and stealing the ball the most and covering the most ground. Like I want to do everything. My numbers are the best at goals, assists, tackles, minutes, whatever the case may be. That's how greedy I am. It's not enough to score the most goals. I gotta have the most assists. I have to. Oh, you think you're a prolific goal scorer? You scored 0 goals against me. You're not that nigga. Humble yourself. Oh, that's how I am. So for me, it's not enough to just be like, oh, I'm hungry to score goals. That wouldn't be enough to motivate me. This wouldn't have worked. I'm greedier than him, than these players. I would argue because it's not just about having the most goals. I want the most everything. So my
That's
ego, so their ego is not high enough for my liking, not to my standards. It's too tepid, not moving me.
Naya said devour. I'm gonna chew you up and spit you out.
I'll kill you.
I'll decimate you. I was gonna, but like, it is a weird system because it's like they don't respect sacrifice, but by the nature of like soccer, we can't all be strikers. They literally tried that and they were losing. So, so it's one of those weird things. So I guess it's one of those things of like, well, if you're willing to give, like some, it's like I guess like the people that are least willing to give, you know. But it's like again, this just doesn't work because if we're all just stubborn headed, we'll just lose. So my ego doesn't matter. Like,
Because it's not for me. It's like I'm not proud of scoring 9 goals and losing. That doesn't move me. I can't speak for anybody else. Now,
yeah.
I could be like, obviously, I didn't lose us the game. I'm nice, but that's not really enough for me. You said you feel the Nagi thing, my favorite character, but he also killed my head for the series. I don't want to spoil you, but have you seen the match with Ichigo yet? If that's the match where it was against Ichigo, Rio, and the Speed Merchant, right? Or the Dribbler Kun? No, Dribbler Kun was with
With Ren.
the best guys were in. Yeah, so I think I already seen that. is it the match where the chemical reactions of devouring one another of Baro, Nagi, and Isagi? Oh yeah, that moment for me was I hear you. Nagy had already been really nonsensical to me, so like I think what he does later on against a match against Rin is a little more ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. It's the Baro part that bothered me the most in that, because then Isagi's like, "Get up, loser." I'm like, bro, what?
It's
Like what? That but he has this thing that pisses me off, but I actually know people like that. I know people who like once they're in the game, they're not the same person they are off the field. Like they're like nice and kind off their field, but in the game they're kind of like demonic. But now once the game's over, they're like, "Oh, gentle giant," you know. So, but he pisses me off. I'm like, "Is this? Are you like this or not?" Like,
is Isagi is just weird because like I don't know the way he became like got in. It was I don't know. I feel like his transition like is the weirdest one out of all the characters. Honestly, it's just weird. I don't know how to explain it because they make his really seem like it's a different like entity or being, and it's
I,
just not wholly him. But it's like, and the way they kind of like tweaked certain matches into coming, it felt more like a switch rather than like
a
I don't
seamless
know a
transition
transition.
into yeah. I
Yeah,
got you. I got you. I got you. I agree with that. I do. I will say my favorite moment of him, and I think Addy said this on Twitter when he beats. I think his name is the guy with the bangs, and he's like crying. He's like, "I feel good." I said, "Ha." But after he's like, "Am I a bad person?" I've actually literally gone through that entire process. Like getting us this sick twisted joy of completely demoralizing a team and like getting legitimate joy out of it. To the point that like, oh my god, do I admit this? Like let's just say blood rush somewhere sometimes. I got literally physically excited. Psychologically crushing my opponent. And then I'll be like, am I a bad person? Am I a demon? So I've been there, man. I've been there. But I I just want to say that I just want to say I just want to say that I think this is interesting. Chill. I'm different now, bro. why the whole why everybody in the chat go crazy, man? I'm just saying, bro. You ever beat up someone so badly they don't want you see the fear in their eyes and next time they face you, they don't want to be there. They're faking injuries to not play the game. They sick, they on the bench. It's different, bro. It's different.
I,
No,
it
I was
is
a messed
weird.
up
I've
kid.
definitely had
Go ahead.
I when people I don't know. It's weird because like most people knew like me because of my brother because my brother was really good at track because he would like always go to state like he went to like states like early on like
Mhm,
freshman year and like stuff like that.
mhm,
Uh, and I didn't really like I didn't do really good. I got faster my sophomore year, but I didn't really get like really good till junior and senior year. But I remember even like senior year, I would come and people like they would kind of know who I am. They were like, "Oh, bro, you're so fat." And it's just weird when people are like, I don't know what it is when people are like, "Oh, can you go easy on me for the match?" It's like obviously like a joke,
mhm.
but like there's a little bit of truth in it. And I'm just kind of thinking like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I'm saying?
I've never said that. Don't I hate that. Don't say that shit to me.
I'm just like,
Nah, don't clip that. Don't clip that.
no.
Don't clip that. By the way, keep going. Keep going.
It's just weird when people say that. I'm just like, what do you? What, it's one of those situations. You know, there's just certain comments. It's like, what do you want me to say here?
Yeah. It,
What am I supposed to do
it
with this
reminds me of
information?
getting dick. People should dick ride me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do to dick riding. Like compliments and credit and I guess some praise, sure. But like, oh, you're the fucking coolest, best guy I ever seen ever. Oh my god. Thanks. Like, I don't know what to do with that. I've never liked that. Like, don't dick ride. You can just be like, hey, played a good game, hell of a game. All right, thanks, bro. You know, you don't have to.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't
Like,
gotta suck dick.
I
Take it easy on us.
you just
No, don't ask me that shit. The fuck.
I'm
So
here to win. I'm gonna
yeah,
run good today. That's the plan. Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's
yeah,
why I'm
man.
here.
Yeah. No, I will admit it. When it came to sports for a long time, I don't think I was normal. I think I was unhinged. Like I used to hate when my coaches used to take me out where it's like we're up 6-0, like, all right, we've done enough, we've won. It's like what if we beat them 16-0 and they quit the sport?
Oh nah.
It's like I want to keep going. I used to hate that.
Relax, Mookie suck.
No. You gotta you gotta knock the will out of them. Don't ever play like don't ever step on this pitch again.
I actually do think that's like one of the funniest moments of Kuroko when he's like goes to the game and he sees his friend like playing the match. He's like, "Oh, I'm here. I just got a time," and it's like 120-0. It's like,
Or the
and
Yomi's
his
like, oh
friend
yeah,
just
this guy, he's nice. I'm ready to play. And he did like 2 moves and he's like demoralized. But he's like, no, like I want an opponent. Where I'm like, oh, I broke you. I'm like, I don't know.
his
I'm fucked.
knees in
I'm
the
fucked.
middle of the court, Naya. He's on his knees in the middle of the court, tears streaming down his face.
Yeah, I love that shit. I never forget when they told me I broke that guy's collarbone in college. I'm like, yeah, he pussy. Good for him.
Oh, you're sick. You're sick. You're
Well,
sick.
well, he was foolish. He tried to tap the ball around me and run around me. That's the stupidest thing you could ever do. So I just kind of bodied him out of balance. He dropped. I remember him leaving on a stretcher. I'm like, oh, his collarbone broke. Ha, bitch. So you get fuck with me.
You're sick.
No, I want to do what the mission did, matching the timer at the scoreboard. That was sick. That was sick. That was so fucking sick. I rate that. But there's times when the team was not good where I've done things where like, okay, I wonder if I'm gonna just like I've traded my actually you know what this reminds me of something I wanted to bring up earlier and I want everyone's opinion on this. You guys in the chat too if you have anything. But it's like, um, you ever heard the best experience is experience? Yes. No.
No, I actually haven't. No.
Like a lot of times what they say as an athlete is you put so much time into training and scrimmaging and practicing and your 10,000 hour rules and all of that and experience watching film X, Y, and Z that you have so much faith in all the time and prep you've done that you could just go out there and perform. But conversely, have you ever heard the idea that it doesn't matter how many 3 pointers you practice until you hit them in a game? The hitting them
Yeah.
in the game is the experience.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with
Okay,
that. Yeah.
okay,
I agree with that. I never
okay.
heard that like phrased that way, but yeah, I agree with that concept wholeheartedly. Yeah, without a doubt.
One thing that I realized with me for a while, from I'll say about 16 to about maybe a little bit before I turned 18, is that while I practice a lot with my left foot, I didn't use it that much in the game until I did my first left foot like Trivela goal, right? So I was like,
Mhm.
until I was literally confident enough to do it in the game, I never applied all that all the practice that I had. So I always think that actually doing the thing you've been practicing in a real match is the best way for you to know whether or not it's feasible, something you could pull off. Is basically what I'm saying.
It's just
I'm
a mental thing. Like
mm,
like whether you admit it to yourself or not,
mm,
you know you're in a different environment where it's like sink or swim, right?
mm,
Because dude, and you probably know this even from like your sport, like from even soccer. You know, like, how many people do you know that were just nice at like in practice? Like especially when I was running, I'm like,
yep.
you're running crazy times in practice. You're out beating. Like I knew this one guy who was on the distance team. He was like a fucking machine the way he would run in practice, like going crazy times and miles and stuff. Beating one of my good friends who's like he won nationals his senior year in the 800. But it's
Mm,
just like but we go to the meets and you're getting dusted. Where's this transition coming from?
yeah,
How can you not compete when it's time for a meet, but you're going crazy in practice? You're not physically any different.
that's all psychological and mental, probably, right?
It's so weird. So yeah, that's why I'm like that shit don't matter till we're at the actual meet. Like none of that shit matters.
Yeah,
And people get big heads from that stuff too, because there are people where it's like, oh, I'm like keeping up with so and so person in practice. I'm like, dude, practice. I'm not going like you're not. Practice isn't for us to go all out. Is to do things routinely to get our bodies just like basically tuned up for the match, bro.
mm,
If we're doing 8 200s, I'm not doing 8 200s at 22 seconds. And then yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, the only shit that matters is the actual fucking game or meet, without a doubt.
that's kind of how I see it, generally speaking. But some people just definitely like I don't tell. A lot of times it's nerves. People lose their nerves a little bit, or I don't know, get psyched out.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes people overthink the appearance of people. That's always been weird to me. But I do want to make it clear that like my mentality for this is usually only for football because that was the thing I was the best at. Um, I don't think I had a weak mentality in any other sport, but there's times where I could doubt myself. That's happened. I've doubted myself before in like basketball. My shot's not falling or whatever. I'm not. I didn't have the shooter short memory in basketball. Like if my shot wasn't falling, I didn't want to shoot anymore. Really, I'd go rebound and play better defense or something. Um,
Hmm.
I don't have the like shooter shoot like the shooter's not working. Shoot machine broke today. Rebound machine working. So I'll go rebound. That's kind of how I was. But again, that was never my sport though. That was a sport that I was good at. Obviously I have the body and athleticism to play it at a high level, but it was just like it wasn't my sport. So it's how different. And I remember like I told you guys, the first time I lost in track and field, I quit. I lost one race and quit.
Damn.
So now you ever play a game where where I felt superhuman? Yeah, numerous times. I'll say it's those times where you kind of lock in and you go in the zone and you tune anything out. And some of the greatest comeback games that I've ever had. I have one buzzer beater in my life. It wasn't a shot; it was a layup. Um, but I'm reminded of this one game in college against was it St. Clair? I think we ended up drawing 5-5. That was a game where I really felt superhuman. Because I did I ever did I ever tell you guys a story about that team? They had this one Nigerian guy. He was picking our defense apart. He was killing. But if you touch him, he would drop to the ground. And then after he faked his injury, he would look up. What happened? There's some lag in the camera here and there. Oh, my bad. Oh, you know what? I did drop some frames. I'm seeing that now. My bad. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah, he was killing us. He was good. He's a really good player, but he would fall for the slightest touch, right? And then he would like look up, like smirk and wag his finger and do this, and I'm like, this fucking bitch, right? So there came a point where we actually were losing this game 3-0 at one point. Remember, it ended in 5-5. We losing nothing at this point. So I think I think we ended the first half with one goal. I think Austin scored, if I remember correctly. I think I passed it to Austin and he scored because he's a clinical finisher. Just this like 5'9" white dude on my team, and he was just really good at finding the back of this net. He had like this one touch and he's good. He's ripping it right. It's a good shit. Dropping to St. Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Oh yes, I'll watch that live. I'll watch it. I'll watch that live probably with Alan because I think I'm hoping that because me and him are hoping we get some Tears of the Kingdom stuff. So we'll watch that tomorrow live if I remember. Hopefully I'm back in time. So yeah. Anyways, right. So Frank, my coach, puts me on the right wing, and through the second half, the way that we basically were getting back in the game is I would burn everybody on the wing, cut inside and drop it off, or send a cross in. So now it's like tied up, right? And I'll never forget this because it's like the one time in my life I've ever laughed so hard. Like I audibly laughed out loud on the pitch. It like distracted me because the coach is getting mad. Like, why do you keep letting it burn on the front of the blah, blah, blah? He's just tapping it and running, right? And right and oh by the way, this is the Nigerian guy. Like he's on that side because he's also playing midfield. He's like, well, what do you want me to do? This nigga has escaped the plantation speed, and I just started dying of laughter. I couldn't believe he said that shit. I looked at my friend, looked at me, and I've never actually laughed like that in a real game before. It like threw me off for 3 minutes. Like 3 minutes, I was not focused. I'm like, did he just say that? He said I have escaped the plantation speed, bro. Like don't say that. You can't say that shit. That's easily one of my favorite games. But yeah, I felt even faster than usual that game. I think my adrenaline was going crazy and whatnot. So like I didn't even get tired either. So if I get any Silk Song, I'll be ecstatic. Man, I'm so tired of Silk Song. I don't fucking Cheap Cherry someone serious. Until that game is literally in my hand or something, it's not real, bro. I'm tired. I'm so tired of them. But yeah. Is that it? I don't think I've ever had a superhuman moment for like the like 3 years I played volleyball. I guess I'd say 3 years, but 3 seasons I played volleyball. But I'm not. I don't think I'm a good volleyball player. Did I ever tell you guys I never tried out for the team when they put me on it because I was athletic and I was tall? I guess for a seventh grader, I didn't try out for the volleyball team. I had no idea what I was doing. I
You're
was
in real
like,
life.
I
Key
was like,
say,
I was Sagar,
join the team.
I was like
Join.
Sagaraki, whatever. Yeah, I was like, I don't like what like.
We need you.
It's like you can jump high and block. I guess. All right. You have to teach, cause you have to teach me literally how to play, like how to bump, volley, what the rules are. I didn't know anything about volleyball. It's like I played volleyball like twice in gym class, and we couldn't even play because there's no rally. Whoever serves basically got the point because no one could get it over the net again. So it wasn't even like a game. Just like whoever serves gets the point. It was mid. I still can't jump serve. I still can't do it. Well, I can't do it. I can't do it reliably, consistently. Then I'll do like a normal serve, standing serve, but not underhand though. But like, nah, it's not. That was not for me. That's not for me. I also find that sports like that don't give me the proper ability to showcase everything that I can do athletically. I feel like it stymies me. So I gotta be able to run around. Speed's my Sonic's the name. Speed's my game. So we'll see what the Nintendo
And
Direct brings tomorrow, though. We'll see. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely brush up on all your sports, anime, and manga that you like because we're gonna have some streams about them. But we rank certain characters coming soon, so definitely. Could I play rugby? Yeah, I could. I could probably play rugby, but I just don't. I don't like pain. So the funniest thing about me, it's like I'm like I'll play through anything, but I'm fragile. Like I've always remember something like, oh, like how you feeling for this game? You at 100%? I'm like, I quite literally think maybe in my life, there's maybe like 8 times where I went into a game where I didn't have some type of niggling injury or ailment or soreness or I'm mad at my girlfriend, so I'm emotionally a little distraught or mentally distraught. Like very rarely do I come into a game 100%. That's very rare. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, that's not a common thing. I'm usually coming in somewhere around 90. So, any plan when y'all gonna do the Maggie revisionist? I gotta reread. So I would say safely. I can give you May, but me and Miles already want to do Topoteng and Gurren Lagann for this month, so we're probably gonna do that. Gurren Lagann. So.
yeah.
But for rugby and like American football, gridlock, hand egg throw ball, my coaches in high school always wanted me to play, but I never played. My father also was like, if you're gonna be a football or rugby player, focus on that sport by itself because the injuries are gonna fuck you up for other sports. So if you really want to do it wholeheartedly and only focus on those contact sports. And I'm the type of person like I always say in rugby or like football, when you get like tackled or hit, you got to get up, like get up, bitch. I'm like, no, that's not how I roll. When I get fouled and I drop, I need a I need a whistle. I want the play to stop. I want everyone to acknowledge that I was fouled and I want possession of the ball back. Not get up, bitch. I was not cut out for that. All right. I don't think I have the aggression for those type of sports. I'm counter aggressive. Like if the defender that I'm playing against or whatever is not doing weird like elbow shit or whatever, I play the game normally. If you're really overly aggressive or you're hitting me stuff, then I hit back. I don't have that natural, oh, girl, I'm gonna take someone, get my. I don't have that. No, I'm not wired like that. I feel like football niggas were angry. I wasn't that angry. so, so yeah. But Abdul, if you want to come for that, you can come. By the way, for the Maggie one, that's gonna be fun. Also, I had started. Miles. I started writing down some of the comparison things I wanted to do for a little thread we did. Remember, we said Soul Eater and Magi was on
Oh yeah.
Was it Soul Eater and Magi? Was Soul Eater and
It was solely versus Magi. Yeah.
yeah, that was a good one. Like I've been working on that. I have a couple written down. So
Okay.
actually, I have tried hockey. I can skate like very like a dude's really standard skate. I'm not good at it, but I was actually a goalie. Like when I played ice hockey, like maybe the 6th time I played it, I played the net, and I don't know. Actually, I have no idea how good I was or not, but how good I really was or wasn't. But I've played it
I
before, but
skated
I'm not.
once in my life. I
Yeah.
hated it. I don't know if it was like this because I got like the rentals there, and I don't know if it was like the ones they had were bad, but like my actual ankles themselves like just hurt every time I was like moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is literal hell, and I'm cold. Cause like I used to roller skate all the time, so like I kind of like picked up on it. It wasn't like that bad, but I was like, my legs are just in physical pain.
Mhm.
And ever since I saw, dude, was it in the Olympics or just was it like some like what was that one incident years ago where though I think it was a figure skater. Like I
Oh,
don't know if they
nah,
came. Yeah, you know what I'm talking
ah,
about.
it hurts. It hurts to think about. I don't remember who it was, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was
You know what
brutal.
I'm talking about.
That was
Yeah.
brutal.
Ever
Yeah.
since that, I'm like, I don't, I can't, I can't. I did my time. I did my one time. I don't think I'll ever redo it in my life. I'm good.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like it's just like hockey's another sport where you get body checked and hit a lot. It's just those weren't my thing, man. I'm gonna lie to you, man. I want sports where if I get hit, no, 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 give me the ball back. So, but no, I wasn't good. I'm not good at hockey, and I play a little bit of field hockey and a little bit of like road hockey, but I'm not good at it. I don't know what I'm doing. I actually use my feet a lot. Will not play like field hockey or whatever because you can use your feet a little bit.
Hmm.
Like I'll just start dribbling with my feet. It's like with when I learned in volleyball, you can use your feet. So for a long time before I could learn how to bump properly, I used to return the ball with my foot or like my thigh to like get it to my setter to set it for a spiker.
I
I used
never
to
knew that.
I used to control it with my thigh.
I
So
never knew you could use your feet in volleyball.
yeah, you can. You can. It happens in
Unbelievable.
Haikyuu too. Nishinoya has that one panel I love where he does it with his. I think he says it with his
I've
feet.
never seen
The
Haikyuu.
libero. Hmm.
I
Haikyuu, yeah,
should. I've
yeah,
never
Haikyuu.
seen it. I should
Oh,
because I've heard
oh.
things about it.
I mean, if you got any incentive to do it, we'll be doing like the best spikers and setters and stuff like that. It's like and like the best teams in Haikyuu. If you want to like join that discussion, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'll be getting all that set up. So
Mm.
I I I want to do Prince of Tennis first because that's the easiest one for me. I'm thinking of maybe doing the best one-on-one players, the best duos, and the best schools, perhaps.
I think
I don't know if you can segregate it more. Like we can do counter puncher, all rounder if you really want, but I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
I think the only I think the Kuroko I don't need it like ever. I'm good on Kuroko. Like I don't need to re-look at that.
We already did that one though, so we don't have to rehash that one.
Yeah. I think Ice Shield I'm pretty good whenever on Ice Shield. I think maybe like just
I
certain
have to reread that one for sure.
matches. I
That'll
think
be the
I'm
last one
good
we
for
do, by the
sure
way.
on
That's
Ice
the
Shield.
last one we're doing. Ice
Okay.
Shield, just so you know.
Slam Dunk I definitely kind of got to reread. Cuz
So do I.
it's the only thing about Slam Dunks is like so many of the faces blend together. So I'm
Mm.
having a lot of trouble re-separating cuz I remember the one dude was like the actual different like shading. He looks a little darker, who was kind of nice. I think his team colors were like purple. Then you had the one dude who was the coach and the player. And like a lot of the school names I just don't remember either for Slam
Mm.
Dunk. So the
Yeah,
Slam Dunk I would actually have to do a big
I
one.
only read it once, way back when I read it. So it just a lot of vibes. No memories, just vibes.
Slam Dunk, I love Slam Dunk.
I know he jump high. That's all I really got. And Rukawa, because it reminds me of the Atobi chant from the anime. Like Hyote,
Slam Dunk I just respect
Hyote.
because it's from all the ones all the manga, all the sports manga I've seen. I think it's just the most realistic one by like far.
I think Dino Ace probably isn't for me.
So I haven't read Diamond Eyes,
Mm.
so I can't speak to that.
I think out of all the basketball ones I've read or watched, it's the one grounded in the most realism. That I agree with. But
And I
no,
respect
there'll
it
be no
because
air gear. I'm not doing no air gear. So I'm gonna talk about John Ohama, fucking
that's the
Barack
thing.
Obama, bro.
Yeah, like even from a rival perspective, Rukawa clears Hanami by a lot by the end of the series. Still,
Yeah.
which
Jay,
like you
get
don't
on
see
gas.
often.
Yeah, that's a new task for you. Then get on Dino Ace because we're gonna be talking about the best pitchers, catchers, leaders, batters, all of that, man. I'm very excited. I gotta actually do it maybe do like a list or an Excel sheet though, because I just be like, yo, remember them. I don't be writing nothing as we talk. I have to actually like get an Excel sheet or something this time around. So it should be whatever. Yes, Ohama is a thing that really took me out of air gear. It was already getting a little ridiculous, and I didn't really like that sleeping forest AI, whatever the fuck. It was already starting to lose me, honestly. And then they brought this nigga in talking about, yes, we can. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Then he was in the girl's body, being weird. I'm like, I just can't. They lost me. They lost me, man. Ogre's a fucking sicko. I don't know. So yeah, we got a lot. We got some cool streams lined up. Like I said, I don't want. I'm tired of editing videos. All right, I'm tired of making videos, conceptualizing and making videos that y'all don't watch. Rather just stream them. All right, at least, at least if I come up with some good stream ideas and cool shit, whatever, it'll be dope. But I'll try to make sure I get like um. I'll try to get people you guys like in the stream too. So I'll get Jay for like I don't know if we watch or reach IQ, but for 908s and stuff, I'll have him there, and I'll try to get like a Laz or like Matt for like high Q or something with no promises, and I'm not breaking my back to get them in here because getting those guys to remember that I have the stream and stuff be annoying. So, but yeah, but still bad though. I don't know. Oh, is who's that again? Oh, yeah, with the fat ass. She's bad. No, don't get twisted. Oh, great draws elite thoughts. I like that. Like I love how he draws his women. It's fire. Like Ringo and all of them are fire. Yeah, Om's one of my goats. There was a girl with the she ended up losing a leg, which had the cheetah leopard print pants and that like weird like skating staff with the long hair. She was super dope too. I still think that I actually don't remember the mangaka's name. I'm looking it up, but do you know do you know the mangaka's name for History's Strongest Disciple off rip
I
or no?
don't, but
Yeah,
I'm a big Kenichi. I'm a big Kenichi guy.
how he draws women. I'm sorry, he's the goat. Shigure? Oh my god, you guys don't understand? Shigure be having me tweaking.
I love Kenichi. The ending still annoys me. The way it, the way the trajectory changed, but I
Tsuyun Matsuena.
still hold love for that series.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily think it's. I like it. I don't think it's like great or nothing, but I definitely had fun with it. But the ending was just like, all right, what are we doing?
I think it started going downhill for me.
When wait, sorry, wait, with the
Shoot,
there's the Muay Thai guy, Apache or whatever. Something happened with him, and let's say he came back, and that's when they lost me. Go
it
ahead
was
though.
I think we're around the same because I think that was right after Miyu's like kidnapping arc, which I still kind of like because I actually like Hongo, and Hongo was kind of going crazy in that arc after he fought Sasuke, and then he fought I forget the demon master dude's name and killed him.
Mhm.
But around the Shigure, like once like the armed division like Yomi part came in and Shigure got captured, that's when I think it really just started going
If
downhill.
that was over the top, she just butt ass naked in that room. Like, all right, what do we do? Just end this
And
manga.
the armed division Yomi people just never moved me like
Yeah,
at all. I was like, we should have just stuck completely with pure hand to hand. Because once
like
they came out, I was like, how are we supposed to compete when they got like 20 masters on the level of R5? Like, what are we doing here?
that was one of those.
But
I
normal
don't
Yomi and
know how to
Yami,
end this. I
raw.
have to up the scales of everything and just make bigger, stronger,
Yeah.
badder guys. I'm like, ugh, I hate this. I hate that.
And I respect the series that they stuck with Kenichi being a disciple, and it wasn't like Kenichi became a master like at the last chapter. Like oh, I'm a master and I can beat my masters like during the series. Like, nah, bro, you're still a disciple, which I
doesn't he
like.
become a writer?
Yeah, he becomes a writer.
Yeah, like he even like became like the ultimate MMA mark. Like he just became a writer after. Like, all right, like cool.
I I think the implication, because his arm was big as fuck, was that he was like he got as strong as his masters, and I think the implication was because the grandfather kept saying, "Unless you beat me, you can't marry me." You that he may have beaten him. So I think it was one of those things of like he still trains, does all that stuff, but he just has a normal
Normal life.
profession that like
Yeah,
how they love doing that in stories sometimes where it's like I'm not really a writer, I just wrote my story, like I just wrote my life.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I wrote an autobiography, but it's fantasy. It's like that.
I gotta read more series from him too. I know he's a lot of other stuff out. Cause I was looking at like this girl look busty and stuff too. I'm gonna read it, but I just never got around to it. But
Nah, Chief is spitting, bro. That shit was funny in the tournament when he came up and pulled a mask. He's like, "How old are you?" He was like, I'm 20." He's like, "Mm." Like we can see your fucking beard. He's like, "It's
no,
part of the
he's just
mask, bro."
hilarious just because it's in general. It's like what was that one scene where he was running on the water and I started dying of laughter? That's like wait, are this a
It,
person? I can't remember what it was. I could not remember what it was. I can't remember. Like towards a boat
bro,
with like a lucha libre fight or something. I don't know why I can't remember it,
yes,
but
it was. It
it
was.
was
It was. They fought.
hilarious.
It was. Yes, it was. They were on the yacht because it was. It was the Lucha Libre Yami Master versus the Chinese Kimpo Master. Ma
Mhm.
Kinsei versus the Lucha Libre guy. And then they were on the boat, and yeah, he came running on because the boat was like had a bomb on it, and he came
Mhm.
sprinting on the water.
Mhm.
And I just liked how like unserious he was. He was like, nah, his title. Everybody has like this fire title, 100 Dawn, the Ashura, the Philosopher, Superman. Just straight. He's super. He's Superman.
He was
That's
honestly a
it.
goat. He was honestly a goat. I fuck with him, but Shigure also #1 for me, bro. I like her eyebrows too. I like how they're like squiggly. I don't know. There's one panel she has a chainmail on, and I'm just like, well, I'm just tweaking, bro. I'm just not normal over here. I'm just tweaking. That's one of the best bitches I ever seen drawn in my life. Top five easily.
Fire. That series was fire. When it was on top, it was on top.
Yeah, I
I gotta
agree.
give respect.
When it was doing its thing, man, I was high on it. Don't get twisted, but it
That
was
shit
when
was
the
going
but I
crazy.
remember the fight with Apache, the whatever his name is, Apapai or whatever, the Muay guy. And I'm like, bro, what?
I thought that
All
was
right.
a good fight. I liked even
I
because
didn't like that moment
I
though.
yeah, I respect Kenichi because I do think they were honest all the way through with Kenichi not being talented. He
Mhm.
literally had to put in like 25 times the amount of work of anybody else,
And he had the
and he had
really,
the masters
really,
for it.
really good teacher, so obviously he can get to
Yeah,
that level. But it was not. He wasn't. Yeah, I agree with that.
he
I
put
like
in
the
a
fact that he never became
lot.
like, I'm the strongest, ultimate awakening. I'm the god. I faded. Like
Yeah,
that never happened. I respect him for that.
and everything that he did literally did come from practice and stuff. Like he the only moves he created for himself were just combos from what he learned from his masters, which I respect. And like it was one of those things of like I also like that everybody else also was getting stronger while he was getting stronger. Obviously his work was faster because of the work he was putting in, but other people were getting stronger. Like even after he beat Shu, who was the original leader of Yomi, the other Yomi kids were also getting stronger. Like I like his three. It's not Black Star versus what's his name, but his three-parter with the Russian guy was good because the
Mhm.
Russian guy also gets stronger. And even when he fights the Yomi Muay Thai guy, he loses. He like low key actually dies. He gets murked in the gym of his school.
Yeah,
His masters come in like, Kenichi, are you alive? And I'm like, Kenichi has to like he's not that guy always. He has to consistently get better because if not, he's just gonna get worked. And I respect
yeah.
that. And then he got literally the fear of death put in him
Yes,
after
you
he
did, Glenn.
died, and he
Yeah.
had to go train that off, which I
Mhm.
respect because I remember the masters were fighting or were training him, and they like were
Boris
about to hit him,
Ivanov.
and his
That's what his
eyes
name.
were closed.
Mhm.
Boris, thank you. And Kenichi's eyes were closed, and like he's afraid to fight now. And then he had to go with Shiguri and train like to be like willing to like fight in the face of death and all that. And I was like, this that stuff was really good.
Their
I like
small
that.
attention to detail for things like that was always really good. It's just the ending was just kind of ridiculous. It was kind of like ah,
Absolutely
but I'm
bananas.
with you. I'm with you though. So
It was
He's
absolutely bananas.
Blam. I've consistently through since coming back since like literally like last like since January I've started streaming around 6 p.m. Pretty consistently. I think the latest I started once was around 8 or a little before 8 because I think Simi's either live now or going to go live soon. So I'm trying my best not to trample on him because I actually don't like streaming at the same time my other friends are streaming if I could help it. I feel like no one extends that courtesy to me, so I do that for Simi. So next Thursday, like you're
He
gonna have to
just went live.
set it. Oh, there you go. Set an alarm for like 6:30 or something. Cause I've been going to bed at a good time more often than not, and my schedule's been good. I've been sleeping, so I'm just trying to keep it going. Cause I one thing I would say is I regained my love for sleep during my little break. All right, I've been sleeping again, getting like at least 6 hours. So yeah. Remember Kenichi's dad with the Thule? I actually don't remember that.
Go.
I don't remember
His
that.
dad, they used to pop up in his dad's crib, and he always used to come out with like a gun or something. And he would have like English names for them or something. He'd be like, "This is Benjamin," and
I'm
had
gonna have
just
to
a full
revisit.
shotgun coming out the wall.
Mm-hmm. So I've just been tired for being up all day at class. Yeah, I know, I get you. Because usually I would probably start at now or later. Like I remember I used to stream like 11 sometimes. Like I'm not. I'm those. And I know there's an over and it won't happen. It's just like I'm trying to be. I found that I've been a little more consistent. It's been helping with certain things, certain aspects. So yeah, but that's honestly a manga I low key would love to reread and do a revisionist history on. Honestly,
Let's do it. Let's
but
do it.
but that
I
but
can talk love about that.
I have no problem doing it. But we gotta push it to like November. I'm
That's
not
fine.
I'm not. You can't rush me with that one. Like I need time. So like
So Gurren
end the
Lagann
year
for sure this
and
month.
end it yeah end the year
Okay.
with like Gintama and like in like History Stronger Disciple or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I don't mind doing two this month because I was thinking because I think things still wants to do a Yaiba. I don't mind, but I might just do two this month, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. That's
Because
fine.
because because also it we technically would have to catch up from stuff from last year, and I still haven't done my Stone Ocean anime part 2 and 3 discussion. But part of that's because Pat's been at his military base and stuff. He hasn't been around, so
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
matter of
I'm like, as long as I usually get like 2 weeks from ones that I haven't like read or need to catch up, I'm usually fine. Like,
okay.
that's plenty of time for me. Like, even honestly, 1 week would probably be fine for me to just catch up
Mhm.
on whatever,
You said let
as
me in
long as I
there. Yeah,
know.
I got you, bro. You can come through. I always said all I require is that your mic is not trash. And if you are approved by the council, you're good. That's all it really is. I'm really not like that person where it's like, no, you're a fucking chat person. You don't get like I'm not really like that. I don't. I'm just a regular dude, man. I promise y'all. Because I remember one guy was like, "How many subscribers do I have to be to join a conversation?" I'm like, "Bro, do you want to be in the conversation?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Just hop in the Discord, come in. As long as your mic's not garbage." I don't. He's like, "What?" I'm like, who do you guys think I am?" Don't- I have egoism in that sense, man. I have egoism for very few things. Okay, otherwise, I'm a very regular dude.
Life is fine, but see me on a court and I'll devour you.
Yeah, put me on the pitch is different. A game that I have a really like high level of like I think I'm really good at. Like I don't know, like you were like I'll wash you in PlayStation Authorized Battle Royale. Like I don't know, you gotta prove that to me. Citation needed. But um yeah, like it's like Michael Jordan would like lose in ping pong and buy a ping pong table to beat you ping pong. I don't care about being better than you with ping pong, my nigga. I don't play it. I don't care. Like that's how I am. So I'm not that. See, I'm not that psychotic. I promise. Just a little bit. Just for the things that I know and practice that are like if, obviously if I've been playing a fighting game for like hours and hours and you talking shit, yeah, I'm trying to beat your ass. It's different. You can't get me to care about something I don't care about. Like Naya, bet you I can beat you in billiards. Probably. I don't fucking play billiards. I'm not good at that shit. I don't give a fuck. But he's like, I beat you in a
Uh,
race. You gotta run that. And more often, I scare people because with certain things, I'm like, okay, but how much money do I get for each second I win by? And then their talk slowly goes away. I'm like, bro, since there's people who haven't played Mario Kart since 64, I'd be like, oh, I beat you in Mario Kart 8. And I'm like, for every second that I beat you by, I want $20. If you do not accept that, don't talk to me. No, all right then. Then you're not that good. Be quiet. It's not even say I'm good at Mario Kart. You do not play the game. Shut up. Why do people do this? This is me going to like Simi like, I'll wash you in Call of Duty. Do I play shooting games? No, I don't. So I should shut the fuck up. Never understood that. So, did you like Sakatsuki Factory with Hongo? I like their Yami and Rio Zampak connection. I did not remember none of that.
Ryo Zanpaku is the name of the dojo.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yami's evil organ.
Yeah, no,
Darkness.
was it
Dark.
was it Yami? Wasn't it Yomi? Okay, it was Yami. All right.
Yomi's the disciple group of
Oh,
Yami.
okay. Yami literally just means darkness. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. It's just darkness. The one's hidden in the shadows.
Mhm.
Sasuke's the karate master, the one with the scar over his face.
Mhm.
And Hongo was the blue-haired dude with the who always pulled up in a suit and shades. Was
Ah,
also the
okay.
karate master of Yami.
Yes, yes. And then there's a
I
perverted
re-
dude that ate the kung fu kempo whatever guy. Then there's Shigure, was a weapons master. And then Superman,
yeah.
old man.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. This is a little off topic, but is Naze Yoka still your favorite character in manga? Yes, she is. And also top three bad bitches I ever seen in manga. But yeah, she is. She's still my favorite. Boya Hadamichi's my favorite main character. I feel
I
like
gotta
sometimes people
reread
mix them up.
Medaka Box. I
Hmm?
gotta reread that. I gotta reread Medaka Box. We have to do a revisionist on
I think
that.
Mook's reading it right now. It's making me proud. He's reading all the gas. So Kensei's brother was Sora. Kensei's brother. Kensei's brother. Nope, not ringing the bell. All right.
Naze is cool. I gotta give respect to Naze. I really do. I really gotta give respect to her.
Mm, yeah. I'm reading it right now,
I
and
didn't like
Kumogawa
her
arc
at
is
first.
in. No, Misogi is that dude. Don't get good loser. Kumogawa is lit. Like all fiction
He's
go
my favorite.
absolute
That's my
dummy,
favorite.
and
That's my
anybody who's
guy.
like that's the go to Madaka box, you won't see
That's
me
my
argue
guy.
with you. I have a very personal reason for liking Kujiro Kurokami the way that I do. It's the same reason why I like Junko Inoshima so much. I'm a bit of a despair merchant. I like the gimmick. It moves me. That's all. So
I'm also a Zenkichi guy too. That's also my guy.
I like him. I like him.
What was his title? The guard dog.
I think so. And he was because him and they're all like vying for like Madaka's love and I can't remember what it was, but
I respect him, bro. He was cool. He got his own little Super Saiyan form. I'm not gonna lie. When he got his eyes snatched, I was like, damn.
Perseus mode, Madaka and stuff.
Kumagawa was a demon, bro. He was a demon.
The hand bro, he was right. He know what he's talking about. I fuck with him, man. I really do. I really do. He got the Sanchi legs. No, like Madaka is one of those things where like I recommend it to so many people because I have nothing but admiration and praise for Nisio Ishin as a writer. And I actually never remember the guy the person who draws the name, but I love their artwork. They haven't drawn too many things. I just think it was a really good combination of stuff. And I like how to me Madaka Box is this weird thing. While I think it's simultaneously a parody and satire of a lot of Shonen Jump tropes and manga and stuff like that, to the point that it changes what genre it is at one point, where the character basically saying are offering other people the ability to become the main character and having the lead role, like, but I think it's in a way that I think it's done in a way that's pretty subtle and implicit that it goes over a lot of people's heads. So I think it's interesting to me because when I find people who like Madaka Box, their reasonings tends to be a lot different. Some people just like the fights and whatnot. Some people just like how ridiculous it is. Then there's some people who are like me, where it's like it's that weird satirical parody undertone that it has on top of those things that make me like it a lot. But again, maybe I'm just biased because I'm a Nisho Ishin stan. I'm not. I'm willing to admit that.
To me, what drew me in, because
Mm-hmm.
I think I read it when I was like kind of younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what drew me in, I was like the way they took the way their take on prodigies were,
Yes, there's that
and I
too. The
was like,
genius thing.
oh,
Yes.
this is cool because because like it was when I first saw the discipline committee guy, the short kid with the marbles,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
He just grabbed the titty
oh, this is
too.
how we moving. Okay,
Yeah. I mean, he just grabbed her titty. I'm like, hey, yo. Sorry, keep going.
crazy. And then even just the consistent like ones of like then the losers when negation came in and what they were,
Mhm,
and I was like, okay, no, I'm really rocking with this.
mhm.
And then God came in, and she's like, I can't beat the main character. I was like, okay.
Yep. This man pulled up and
Uh,
wiped out T plus T he plus he mine 6 team and team loser, and they were all crucified. I knew he was on something. Yeah, seeing them in the screws, this is like the fucking big screws. What are they called? Nugs or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a. As a man, I admit
yeah,
that I'm a failure as a man when it comes to building and fixing shit. But I'm learning. I'm fix. I know you see the Lego behind me. I'm learning. Where I'll be building, be fixing. I'm about to be a
that was
builder.
funny. They're like the other six guys are about to come through. They open the elevator.
Mosh
Gone.
up. Yep, mosh up. Just see fucking Kumagawa there. I'm like, hey, yo. I've always had a bit of a testy relationship with the ending. I'm not gonna say anything. Just thought not the
I
ending
did too.
literally, just like the final arc in terms of like.
Yes, I did
There's
too.
one part of it that I actually loved. I thought was brilliant because I'm like, this character was a character that I knew had much more significance that the story was trying to let on. I won't get into it because I want everyone who's not reading it to get
Oh
there.
yeah,
So I'm not
yeah.
gonna spoil
Okay.
anything in today, but we can talk about it off stream for a second if you know if we want to. But yeah, there's like it's one of those things where like I don't hate the ending or like how it ends or the climax or anything, but it's just like it's a portion of the very final arc that I have legitimate issues with. But it's still one of my five favorite manga. It has been since I read it. So is he biased? But yeah, what's up, Lizard? I'm gonna host Simi in like 15 minutes, or if the camera dies before then, trying to hit the 2 hour mark at least for the stream. So, but yeah. Then I finish editing and then I go to bed while I shimmy on. But
Bruh, bruh,
yeah.
bruh.
I wish they can tell more. I wish the Madaka Box anime was better. I have watched it. I almost bought the Blu-rays for it, but I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't move me. Can we try again?
It's just I think I've seen clips. It's just one of those like anytime like there's like a manga I always enjoy. I'm like I just know the anime's never gonna do it justice usually. Like it's just I've come to that and accepted that. I'm good.
The amount
It
of
is what
like
it is.
anime adaptations that I think are better than the manga are so far and few between. So it's hard for me to ever have any faith that it will. At most, I'm like,
Like
it's good.
yeah, like when we talked about this like last week, like Doro Doro. I think its anime adaptation is actually really good. I think that's one of those series where like the 3D modeling and stuff
Mm,
actually works well. And I think based off the art style, it really because some of it is like it's so like that weird like rustic grimy like everything seems to be made out of pipes and like used material that like seeing color and like just in it like in like an anime style makes things look a lot clearer and like just more like enjoyable to like be in. I think for
mhm.
Dora. Same with Beastars. I think it works really well for Beastars, and it's really nice to actually hear the Beastars music, which I really, really like. Those are two where like I think the
That
animated adaptations are really, really well done.
that was one thing that you were talking about that I totally understood because I thought of like all of my favorite anime or manga, whatever, that have a musical component to it, where I'm like, a lot of them do a really good job of making the characters emote and they're so vibrant. You know, they're like feeling it and they're into it when they're performing on the violin and everything. But to
Yes.
actually hear it is different.
Yes.
Our the first time this happened to me was with Beck Mongolian Chop Squad because I read the manga, but actually hearing like I think it was called Blue Moon or Full Moon Sway, I'm like, hold on, who? I said, wait, they moving me like I'm tapping my feet, like. So I hear you. That's why I do kind of think that one-to-one adaptations are kind of like not way at the way like you want to keep the intent and the purpose of the scene intact, but you want to use the strengths of the medium to your advantage. So you have movement, you have
Yes.
sound, you have this. Use that. So that,
Yes.
that that's how I've always did it. And you can always do small little things like I've always found that Snyder Snyder was actually pretty good at recreating iconic moments without having to make a one-to-one adaptation of it. Like when the very split second when he's running from Doomsday, where he's kind of posing on the hook shot that mimics Frank Miller's iconic pose of Batman and the Thunder. Like you can do stuff like that. Like there's another shot where he uses the sniper gun, but to shoot a tracker on it. That's very reminiscent of the panel. And actually, I'm gonna give Civil War this. They have the one panel of a Captain America and Iron Man doing the little iconic clash from the book. Like you could do stuff like that, which I think is cool. Like you do that, and that will make the comic book fans go unga bunga inga dinga. But use the medium to your advantage. Don't just make a one to one
Yeah,
recreation.
like you don't have to be like you know your thing is a story and it's based in some form of media. Like just use it. Like it doesn't have to be a super hyper realistic that like
Mhm. Yep, the
represents
Rubble.
life,
Yep, this is
whatever.
the one for Spider-Man: Homecoming. Keep going.
Like
Go for
just let it just fucking rock. Like B stars, I think like the additions one, they do the school elements so well. The colors work well, the 3D works well, the voices really. But like one thing, like even with the music that I was saying, one I like jazz. It's like the overall sound I really like. But the two of the main characters, Legacy and Louis, have the same. I hope I'm remembering this right. They have the same theme.
it.
They're just different tempos,
Okay, I got you.
and it's super light. But the differences between them, I think, do really well. Like about like the similarities and differences between the characters and the connections, like stuff like that. I'm like, this is really like great to like hear and to like literally see, because when they do it, like the moments that they do it for are really impactful, which I really like.
Yep. Oh man, but some things I don't think need adaptations.
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna do it, man, you really gotta put it in the right hands. I just feel like sometimes it'd be so unserious with what they're doing. And I would be interested to know to know your opinion on this. Why do you feel about like the deconstruction of the superhero genre, or did it this or did it that, where like it's like a genre or like a established thing, and someone wants to do a deconstruction of it? Like, I'm starting to find those a little annoying, personally
I
speaking.
think it. I think it's one of those things. Like I think it's fine. Like when it comes to like anything like related to this, I'm a big proponent of always try. If even if it doesn't work, I think it's always just nice to see different ideas and like people's thought process of how these things work. So even if they don't work, it is what it is. Maybe someone might get it right in the future, whatever. But I think it's just important to try new shit. Stagnation, I think, is one of the worst things when it comes to any form of art. But I think deconstruction is probably one of the harder things. Where like if you're gonna do it, you're gonna probably want to like put more time than you probably would on just like a normal thing, you know?
Yeah,
And I don't know. I maybe it's one of those things that maybe most people just don't put in the necessary time and effort for it.
fair. Because because I was speaking with somebody because they're talking about like the boys and the boys. There's something else where they're like, oh man, like superheroes need to be always R-rated and this like this and blah blah, more realistic, yada yada. I'm like, man, like that's not moving me, bro. I want my heroes to be heroic.
Yeah,
I think the
I
only
do think.
go ahead.
Well, no, you say your thing. Cause I'm trying to find a way to articulate this.
The only time that I found like actually like I think the first time I really understood the concept of doing that was Puella Magica Madoka. I understood that that was supposed to be this like, deconstruction of what the magical girl, I think Mao shoujo like genre was supposed to be, and it kind of flipped it on its head. And I like that series a
Hmm.
lot, but I do think that we're in sometimes we get into this weird cynical snarky age where everything's gotta be like dark, depressing, and a deconstruction of it, and we gotta remake it and
Yes.
recontextualize. And I'm like, a lot of you guys are not as smart as you think you are. You're not doing anything, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe the all the idiots that are your constituents that you're just kind of pandering to are like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I'm looking at it like, can somebody like save somebody from a burning building? Like, this is boring. Like, I don't care for all this stuff. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's kind of as you said. It's also like why like I meant to say sorry, but I do think deconstruction is good because like it helps like maybe like wow closing gaps of like thinking maybe based on like genres like where like the initial one that does it is good just by virtue of like saying like hey this is just another way to look at like this topic, maybe this is good or bad whatever, right? But as
Mhm.
you say like when it happens so often it kind of loses its meaning of being a deconstruction and then just now replaces what it was originally deconstructing,
Exactly.
right? Where it's not a critique now, it's its actual own replacement genre. But the issue is you can't replace it because the whole point is critiquing what it is. So if the thing that you're critiquing no longer exists, then the purpose for why it was made no longer does either. And now it's just
Like, what are you doing?
yeah, it's a weird thing. And that's why what you were saying, no, I completely agree with like some forms of a super. It we talk about this so many times. It's the thing with injustice, where so many
Yeah.
people want the deconstruction of Superman, so they want evil Superman so much that so many people now will say things like Superman's boring. So I'm like, I think you're just missing a lot of steps, and you're just completely confused on what like is really going on. Like I don't think you just don't know the character.
It's
You
actually a
know?
good example because evil Superman exists in so many forms, not just as
Yes.
literal Superman. Like Homelander is a version.
Ultraman.
Yeah, Ultraman, but like Homelander is a version of that, right? Um, a lot of series. I guess in some ways you could say Century of the Void, going crazy, where it's like you have versions of, with like the general power set of a Superman and stuff, but none of his like morals and the
Yeah.
intangibles that he has, and it's just like I don't know what this desire for that is. I don't know why people are so horny for it. Is it because they think Superman is so boring? Because I don't necessarily find him more interesting when you do that. That's the problem that I have. Like
Because he's
maybe
just not every other character.
yeah.
Every character has it. Superman is unique and remains unique because of what he does in the face of all the bullshit. Just because you give someone that power set and saying, "Well, what's if he can't handle the You're basically saying, "What's if he can't handle the pressure?" And
Mhm.
like that's majority of just every other hero without his power set. You
And they,
you
and
just amp them on 10.
and they always try to like what's the phrase I'm looking for? One of the best evil Superman's Bizarre from Smallville. He took his girl. I like Bizarro from that's one of the best stretches Smallville to me with the introduction of Bizarro and Clark being in the Fortress of Solitude, but he was there because his dad was punishing him. Like, yo, I haven't been here for like 3 months, and it's like, bro, Bizarro took his life over. But that's to me when him and Lana started to really, really, really get strained. I think if I remember correctly, I could be wrong though. It could be a little after that, but um with Superman, right? Is it like this inherentness that they think that he's boring and anybody that kind of somewhat is supposed to represent him or encapsulates his like power set is super boring, so we must keep seeing all these different versions of it. Because again, there are versions of Clark that aren't like good or moral that I'm like this works well, but like you need the right situation and context and the reasoning, in my opinion, to do it. And if everyone right now is thirsty for an evil Superman, I think that like doing it now would be the worst time to actually have it. I've always said this. I don't hate Injustice Superman from the game. I don't. I think in the comic books it gets a little ridiculous if you read all the 5 years. That shit's not good. But in the game, I don't hate him because I still see a lot of Clark in him. The Clark isms, the Kent family, mom, pa's teachings are in there somewhere. He's just so hurt and lost, and I'm sure there'll be a version of him that's like that. That's fine. Do you want that every single time now? Like, why? You don't need it every single time. And again, he lost half of Metropolis, his newborn, and his wife all in one, all because of a lapse of judgment that he made, and he felt that he had to kind of rule with a more iron fist. But there were these times where you'd see him like kind of coming back, and then some next thing or tragedy or something would happen or a betrayal will happen, and then he would snap back into what I like to call tyrant mode. So I think they had a pretty decent balance with him there. But I don't remember him too much for the second game for some reason. I don't know why with Brainiac. I remember Kara way more because she seemed to be more of the focus. But yeah, evil Superman don't move me, man. Just I don't care for that. But I'm with you. Like I think in a time where we're getting more edgy, a little more dark, maybe twisted, cynical, and snarky, the fact that someone like Superman could just remain this general beacon of hope and be like the goody two shoes from like the 19 whatever, I think actually is what makes him unique.
It makes him so unique. And people are like, he's one, but I'm like, you like I don't even really read Superman comics, but it's like, bro, like if you just look at any of like mediums that he's been on or anything, like Superman doesn't have it easy. He still has people who can compete with him. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And even from a non-physical or combat standpoint, there's other issues that he has to get through that are hard. And there's plenty of fun things to see. Superman isn't some like boring, bland person where like you talk to when he speaks to you like a robot. Superman's funny and he's like witty. Like he makes jokes with his friends. Like like Superman's like he's funny, he's witty, he looks out for people. And I think there is this thing of like I think they say he's the archetype for superheroes, but I think honestly in some ways he kind of even extends beyond just like that. Like I think he represents like a good portion of like what a lot of stories are, which is just like the just hope as a concept and even like the like think of like it's always going to be all right and like a happy ending is coming. You know what I
mm,
mean? Or like
yeah.
there's always like we can say what we want as like most people as like readers of like we want like we always want like a taste of maybe like things aren't going to work out in the end or maybe like bad guys win or whatever. But for the most part, it's still like we want the main character like to be happy. Or we want overall like the story to like end well for people. Like it's like we can have a universe ending thing, but it's like in the end, I no matter what, I don't want like some like you people can say I want the greatest plot twist of all time. It's like no, you want a happy ending. That's what
Hmm.
most stories are about. Most stories are about there's a certain level of conflict. The conflict is resolved, and we get through it. The whole point is like going through adversity. That's what most stories are literally about. It's adversity comes and you overcome it, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to work out in the end. And
Hmm.
Superman like kind of like does that better than most stories and most characters. And I think that's like representation that's lost on a lot of people. You don't want this like evil, super angry person. Like you don't. You would get sick of it. That's not what most stories are about, and that's not what you usually enjoy. You just want to be different.
Yeah. I also think that a lot of them fabricate the Superman struggle because they don't have all the moving parts of Last Son of Krypton and this and that and the other. But we'll, but I agree with you. But we'll say that for another day. The camera just died, so I've reached my quota.
All right.
I'm gonna host Simi. You guys go show him some love, man. I'm so proud of him. He's been streaming every day, doing what he got to do. I don't know what I don't know what he'd be playing. He'd be these little horror games, but go support my man's, and we will be
Real
back
horror.
tomorrow. Yeah, he out here, man. And we'll be back tomorrow with. I feel like I feel like I said I was gonna do something. Like I had a plan. Did I have a plan? Didn't I just
Mm,
say I was gonna do something?
Nintendo Direct tomorrow.
Yes, direct. It was direct. There we go. Okay. It's like what was it? I wonder if I should just make it a thing podcast for the one time. But he's playing Elisa. I don't know what that is. We're gonna find out. Tell him New York. Tell him actually no. Tell him New York, the worst city in America. All right, y'all be safe. Oh, let's start streaming first.